What is going on in these Wakandan streets? All right, so good morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. I am working out. Something is going on with my Instagram page. And so for the last couple of days, I've been trying to figure it out. But here we are. So I'm not on Instagram again. Uh, Let me see. All right. All right. There we go. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is a full day again today. Season 3, episode 7 hit the rails this morning. Some of you got it last night, and it is funding the future of journalism. Anyone who insists on becoming a journalist or believes that journalism is in their future should really take a look at this episode. In the conversation, I speak with Tracy Powell, founder of the Pivot Fund, around the critical need for funding in BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color media, and grassroots journalism. The Pivot Fund invests in independent community news organizations that serves communities historically overlooked by mainstream media. The importance of trust in media and the role of philanthropy in supporting underrepresented communities. She shares her journey into journalism and philanthropy, the criteria for funding through the Pivot Fund, and how citizens can support local journalism. The conversation emphasizes the power of information and the community action in drive change. So this is a crucial conversation that Tracy and I had. Met her last year, actually, and we became acquainted through some work that we've done together since then. And I wanted to have a discussion with her, particularly I think about folks who are not considered mainstream media. The Pivot Fund really identifies with and funds those folks. She actually started the Pivot Fund, and it has like $3.4 million in it, something like that. I have to go back and take a look. But she really does an excellent job of curating spaces for people who are not part of mainstream journalism. And in fact, she asked me, she says, why didn't you apply for a thing? And I was like, because, right now we're okay. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Thank you. I wanted to go to people who have no access whatsoever. But she also spoke about the fact that mainstream media is dying, that it literally, that the way things have gone on, the way we have done media up until this point has to shift and change if we want to stay viable in our communities and across the nation. So I would love for you to listen to this. It is, I am the host and executive producer. Sarita Martin is the producer, and Eric Nixon is the podcast audio editor. We are getting close to the end of season 3. I need you all to listen to Tracy. When you have feedback, let me know. Give me the feedback around this, because there's been many, many conversations, most recently in the last June. So June, July, August, in the last 2 months, there has been a heavy conversation about mainstream media and how they have to shift, that everybody's moving over to YouTube and Substack and other platforms in order to do this. You see well-known folks like Roland Martin, you see Joyanne Reed, there's, to name a few. They've all been leaving mainstream media because they see the handwriting on the wall. People are not watching them. Their numbers have dipped dramatically. And aside from that, many of them are being asked to compromise their journalistic integrity to do this work, right? Because of what's been going on now in our current government. So again, this is a great conversation to listen to if you have aspirations to start a podcast, to start a locally owned media company. And I've met quite a few of them across the country where, one guy just took his camera and went out and started recording live everything he saw. Nobody knew his name. I think he gave it a different name, but no one really knew who he was. And he was out there just covering the news that no one would tackle, no one would take on. And so that was good. So the Pivot Fund is covering him, making sure that he gets the money to stay safe, to continue to cover the news. One camera, one guy, right? And so those are the things that we were talking about privately and in our public discussion, what people need to know to apply to the Pivot Fund to get the money, and the state of media as we know it. You can find it on Substack. What is it? Substack. Apple, and Spotify. Always start with Substack because it seems to be where everybody is running to now. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Wednesday. Is it Tuesday? Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? It's Tuesday. Tuesday, July 28th. 2024. Is it? Let me just double check because, July 29th. I'm telling you, it's one of them days. Had a really long day yesterday, 16 hours. In fact, this morning I have a funeral and a gala this afternoon, and both are going to run into one another. The funeral is of my dear friend who passed away last week from a series of strokes she had been having for over a year, and no one could figure out why she was so sick. So her funeral is today, and that's going to run until about 2:00, and I have a gala at 5. So it's going to be a long, long day for me. And I'm just trying to, figure out my life and pull it all together in these McCompton streets. So let me take a look at some of your comments here. Good morning to Marguerite said, I was getting ready to ask, why didn't you apply for funding? It's there if I need it. And so, I am not someone who will just grab money just to grab money. It has to make sense. And we also have to think about the other people who are out here trying to get funding. And you guys have been really helpful. So every avenue that we have, we will utilize it. Right now, though. The pivot fund is there. We'll access it should we need to, in the near future. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, Fee, Shaquilla. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, listen, Alexandra, Alexandra, please call in and share your story with me. 215-400-0146 if you feel like it. 215-400-0146. Alexandra texted me yesterday, and what she shared, I was exhausted. It was a long day. I picked up the phone and called her, and I just want to see if she'd like to share with the rest of you, because it really was an inspiring story. And I'll let her share that. Good morning, Monica. Good morning, Laura. I see you all here. Also at 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. Jeez and crackers. Breathe, Andrea. At 7 a.m. this morning, you will hear a conversation from two of my friends, Antoine Johnson, who is desperately seeking a kidney, and Ronte Melvin, Oaks, whose husband needs a kidney. Both of them are O positive, and so I wanted to give them the platform to have a conversation about why this is necessary and why you can be and should be a live donor. You don't have to wait until you die to give a thingy to donate a kidney. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova. How may I help you?
Good morning, Mother. This is Alexandra.
Hi, Alexandra. Thank you for calling in, my darling. Share the story with them that you shared with me yesterday, please.
Yes. Yesterday, I had an appointment with Dr. Majors. This is my first time ever seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
And just to summarize, we had the discussion about my keratoconus, but she also did the regular eye exam.
Mm-hmm.
And what she told me from my eye exam and showed me was that I had cholesterol in my eye arteries. She showed me where they were. And she informed me that the medications that I am taking for my blood pressure are robbing me of my nutrients and minerals of my body. And my body is now in a constant state of inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's an inflammation, I'm not absorbing the nutrients from food and even water. I can't stay hydrated. And it's starting to affect my kidneys. And even though I've been working out and consider eating right, if I continue to work out in the gym in this state, I can have a stroke while doing my exercises.
All of this from an eye exam?
All from an eye exam.
Tell them what happened with your doctor when you said you thought you had an infection.
Last Monday I started having this urge for urination. And then when I would urinate, there would be blood. So I asked him for a urine sample, urine testing, to make sure it's not a UTI or whatever, or to find out what it was. Well, the urine test came back negative for infection. And his words were, no infection, talk to you at our appointment. Our appointment's not till August 12th.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, why am I if I don't have an infection, why am I having blood in my urine?
And he never addressed that, did he?
He never addressed it until we have our telehealth appointment. It's not even an in-person appointment. It's a telehealth. So now that I'm armed with this information, I am demanding full testing to make sure my kidneys are functioning. Because 15 years ago, I had surgery, and during surgery, the surgeon touched my appendix, it ruptured, and I went into renal failure. And I had no renal function during the surgery for 5.5 hours. So they've always kept an eye on my kidneys. So now I'm feeling you're not taking this serious, so I have to take it serious.
Wow. I asked Alexandra to call in because I thought Dr. Major could save way more lives than mine. Absolutely. And the things that she has seen looking through our eyes is enough to make us ask the question, why aren't our doctors addressing the things that we need? Now, Dr. Major will help Alexandra. She's already told her what she needed to do to rebalance herself, to stay out of the gym because she could have a stroke at any moment, and started giving her the things that she needs to do. None of it is medication. This is what you drink. This is what you eat. This is how you navigate. But can you imagine, Alexandra, kind of like you're going to listen to Antoine at 7 o'clock talk about his journey. Like no one says anything. You have to consistently ask the questions. What is happening here? What do I need to do? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm grateful that you were on the air with us when Dr. Major was on. I am grateful that you went and had your testing done. And I'm grateful that she can even help you with the keratoconus, correct?
She can help me with the keratoconus, and not only that, she is now retraining the right portion of my brain from my right eye. Because since childhood, they told my mother I would never really have full vision in my right eye. I was a patient of Will's eye since I was 4 years old up until a couple years ago. And no one has ever tried to balance the vision in my right eye since my late teens, early 20s. It was like, oh, you just won't see it. It'll be blurry. Yeah. Well, yesterday, and I even have it on now as I'm talking to you, she placed a soft contact lens on to retrain my brain.
Wow.
And I have to say, this morning, I forgot because she told me to sleep with it. And I woke up this morning, and it's like everything is centered. I was actually able to see a simplistic thing of I'm looking at something on the phone.
Wow.
And I saw my cat out of my right eye.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I could make the determination. It's not like a full crystal clear.
Right.
But I can see her.
Yes.
And that is something that has never been done.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing after the first week what my brain is going to do when she puts those letters up there for me to read.
And that's the power of having excellent doctors. I'm going to ask because her business, since I talked about her in 2018, her business has grown exponentially. She was always busy, but she's even busier now. And so, make sure that you carry your patients with you, because what she did with Alexandra, she does with every patient. She is very thorough, right? And so yes, I'm grateful.
My appointment was 1:30. I was walking in my door at home a little after 5, but it was worth it.
Absolutely.
With my family history of heart disease, kidney disease, I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing by following my medication regimen, and actually it is deteriorating my body. So I am going to follow what she says.
Yes.
I am going to, this morning, to go pick up my tea from Red Terminal, and I am going to start today.
Yes.
Because she informed me what she told me. It's a simplistic of hibiscus tea, 8 ounces hibiscus flower, organic flower tea, with the stem of rosemary. Brew it. And 8 ounces of that tea is the same equivalent of the medication that I'm on.
Yeah. She is. Yeah.
She's good.
I'm telling you, she's worth the money. Yeah. She is really worth. And Laura, I see you saying I need to see her, but she does not take my insurance. Did you call her and find out what a visit with her would cost you? Because I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth the money and your life. I have never talked about a doctor the way I have talked about Dr. Archima. I'm telling you, there's something about her that is so special, and it is so soothing and calm in the waiting room. Child, you're in there, the music is playing, and you're like, all right, thank you, Jesus. Like, you don't walk in anxious and feeling crazy, when you go to see her. So go if you so choose, and this is what you want to do. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Thank you for going.
Welcome, Mother, and thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, my sister. I've told you, the goal here is to make sure that we save people's lives. Have a good one, darling. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye. The goal here is to save people's lives. The goal here is to share the human interest stories that people don't usually want to cover or talk about. It is insane what is happening out here. I was in a group chat yesterday, and they were talking about, how many women had been losing their jobs. And so I went into the group chat because we talk a lot. We talk a lot about and moan and complain about what is happening. And yes, that is a part of it. But what are the solutions? What are we looking at in terms of solutions? So I wrote, what is the plan? Black wealth was on the agenda in that 900-page document. I covered the story last week and implored people to find their tribes to start sharing services and goods to help take care of each other financially as needed. We are so fractured it will take a while before we even get there. Then I wrote, in my tribe, we share food, resources, excuse me, help to pay the bills of anyone who has lost their jobs, and we help them to find employment. We go into our pantry and freezer to share. We buy groceries. We help with the children. Crickets. Because the truth of the matter is, we have been conditioned to only have dialogue, conversation. We've been conditioned to take care of the people in our immediate family. But what is happening in this country now goes way beyond just talking about it. What are the plans? How are we going to navigate and do what needs to be done? Fill that up for me, please, baby. I have no water in my cup. It was crazy. And turn the fan a little bit towards me if you can. Thank you, darling. I tell you, I've got my own little secretary here. Thank you. There you go. Thank you so much. I have this beautiful fan that blows cold air. I put a freezer backpack in it that I bought and I shared with you guys on that. Oh, that feels amazing. So no matter how hot it gets, you stay cool. So I keep asking you all, what's the plan? What is the plan? What are you doing? How are you doing? My friend who had all those strokes, there were a group of others that were going to visit her all the time, checking in on her, making sure she was okay. And so we have to figure it out, right? Laura says, I need to see her. She said she will do that. My health is I'm telling you, I'm sitting here today as a direct result of that woman who was just like, yeah, no, they want to put you on this medication, that medication. You literally need to wean yourself off of those things, and make sure, like you see the mark on my neck. I had my thyroid taken out in 1995, and they gave me Synthroid. And she looked at me, she said, girl, go to the thing and get a cola nut. Thank you, my darling husband. She said, go get a cola nut. And I went to the Asian market, you can find it anywhere, and bought a bag of cola. And she said, eat one of those a day, you'll be fine. I said, Black Jesus, there are things out here that will absolutely help us. What she will caution you, though, is don't just go out there and start taking things because you see other people taking them. You must get the blood work done. You must be analyzed and she gave a great example. There were people who were taking vitamin D3. Everybody was saying, take the D3. She said it became toxic and started damaging people's livers because they didn't get blood work before to analyze just how much of the vitamin D they needed. And so they were just taking it. So she cautions you, don't just go out and start taking things. Don't just start eating a cola nut. She analyzed me and knew what I needed to have and gave those things to me, right? So make sure you're going to get analyzed. And Laura said, I need that fan. It's a Dreo, DREO, that I use here. So please, make sure you're taking good care of yourselves and doing what needs to be done. Now, I need to read this to all of you because I looked at this thing and I said, well, here we are. And it's happening so much because of all the other things that are going on in the country. We're like, well, it kind of flies by us sometimes, right? A gunman kills 4, including police officer, in a shooting in New York City. Oh, wow. Look at this. Monica said, "Oh my God, I had my appointment with Dr. Archima yesterday as well. All I can say is, wow, so much information. I can't type it. She is amazing." I'm telling you, I'm so grateful that you all are really listening and taking in the things that need to be done. When I was at the radio station, I gave you all my doctors that I saw. I gave you, and so people started calling me, "Mova, who are the doctors that you see?" All right now. And so we're here. Alexandra says, "Mova, losing my job was a blessing. It enabled me to see the show and get an appointment with Dr. Major. I'm fortunate my severance package keeps my insurance coverage and my rollover with Provide. Wow. Me extra finances. I am going to pay for my health. Absolutely. Absolutely." Monica, I can only imagine what she has said to you. Let me go here. This was written by the Associated Press. The shooting in Midtown happened at the end of the workday with the gunman traveling across country to get to New York. The officer killed was Didarul Islam, 36, an immigrant from Bangladesh who had served as a police officer in New York City for 3.5 years. A man stalked through a Manhattan office tower firing a rifle Monday, killing 4 people, including a New York City police officer, and wounding a 5th one before taking his own life, officials said. The shooting took place at a skyscraper that is home to the headquarters of both the NFL and Blackstone, one of the world's largest investment firms, as well as other tenants. The gunman, identified by authorities as Shane Tamura of Las Vegas, had a documented mental health history, according to Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, but his motive was still unknown. "We're working to understand why he targeted this particular location," Tisch said. The rampage happened at the end of the workday in the same part of Manhattan where the chief executive of United Healthcare was gunned down outside of a hotel late last year. I've always said, keep your head on the swivel. I was talking to some police officers yesterday, and they just looked at me and smiled when I said, "I don't understand why we have to keep saying, don't sit in your car when you get home on your phone. Get out your car. Get out your car and get inside your house. Don't go to an ATM at 9 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night. Common sense things. Don't go to get gas at 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Do it in daylight if you possibly can. And if you know you're at a half a tank and you're going to drive for a long distance, make sure that you get gas before while you're at a half a tank so you're not crawling on a quarter tank or nothing else. Just be really careful, people. It is important. Absolutely important that we take care of ourselves, because people of the mental health issues have gotten worse, and people are just out here, doing whatever. Tree said it's unbelievable how he literally walked into the building carrying a rifle. I'm telling you, people are so their minds are elsewhere, right? We're so distracted by all the other things that are going on around us that we don't pay attention, to our own detriment. So it's not easy. It's not easy to do. It's easy. What I should have said, it's easy to do. Let me just tell them. Good morning. I'm talking to my 2 guests that are about to come on. Oh my God, so much going on. All right. So there's that. So that's been happening. The woman who owns Chubby Chicks is going out of business. She did a whole video about it, said that she was targeted, racist, she'll be gone by the end of next month, I believe. And she said that she had gotten so many violations. She never said what the violations were. And that she and her daughter were being targeted. She had to shut down her 12-year-old daughter Instagram page because they were being called the N-word all over the place. Oh, that water tastes delicious. And so she's going out of business. And, it's hard. I can only imagine, what she's thinking and feeling. She got some, people were encouraging, and then there were others who were not encouraging. So, here we are. Let me read a little bit of news. I wish her well. We wish her well in her journey. She talks about going to Atlanta because that's where she always wanted to go. And so now she's considering that maybe this is the time for her to do it. cheese and crackers. Also, Deion Sanders, who was in the NFL for God knows how many years and is now a coach for a college football team, said that he had bladder cancer. His entire bladder was removed. When I went and did some research, they said when they remove your entire bladder, they usually remove your prostate too, that you can actually build a new bladder inside or wear a urine bag strapped to your stomach. He has opted, he said, to have a bladder built out of part of his intestine. And so he said if he didn't have that surgery, then he would have been looking at, would have been a different conversation. He has been struck with quite a few, health challenges over the years, and so it's worth watching. Do a little bit of research, please, to find out, exactly what happened there. At least 100 NFL players face penalty over Super Bowl 59 ticket scandal. From so 100 players from roughly half of the NFL's 32 teams face fines and possible suspension for allegedly selling their allotted tickets to this year's Super Bowl 32 above face value in violation of league policies, multiple sources told ESPN. So that's happening. President Donald Trump, and that was written by 6abc.com. President Donald Trump has again called for Beyonce to be prosecuted over an 8-figure payment she never received for endorsing former Vice President Kamala Harris. Over the weekend, Trump claimed that Beyonce broke the law after allegedly getting paid $11 million to appear at a Houston rally for Harris in October 2024. This isn't the first time Bey has been accused of receiving 8 figures to endorse the Democratic candidate. Last year, Trump supporters circulated rumors that Harris's campaign had paid Beyonce $10 million for her rally appearance. However, there is no basis or evidence to support any of these claims. And federal campaign records show Harris' campaign paid Beyonce's production company $165,000, a payment that was listed as a campaign event production expense. A Harris campaign spokesperson said last year they did not pay for the celebrity endorsements, but they were required by law to cover costs connected to their event appearances. Lord have mercy. Too much going on. Too much going on. All right, I see one of my guests here. So, good morning, Ronte.
Hello.
All right, turn up your volume for me. I can hear you. Hi, sweetie pie.
Hi, how are you?
Why can't I hear you?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, because your thing is muted.
How
You're
about this
muted.
now? Is that good?
I can hear you, but turn it up just a little bit for me.
A little bit more? Hold on. Leopold, get in the camera.
All right. Monica says, my appointment was late 5 p.m. I didn't leave to get home till 6:30 p.m. I was worried about keeping them. Dr. Archerman and her staff stayed like it was 10 a.m. So gracious and giving up their time. All right, you're muted again, Ronte.
Okay. Trying to make sure you can hear me. Okay. Is that good or is that still low?
You're still a little low, but come on, keep talking to me. Good morning, Antoine.
Good morning.
I hear Antoine loud and clear. What the heck is going on with your machine, Ronte?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm about ready to get a new one.
You should try your phone. Log off and try your phone, Ronte.
Okay.
That's what I did. I was on
Yeah.
my computer.
Sometimes the computers, yeah. Log off and log back in, Ronte. Okay. Let me read this. I'm so excited to have you here. I can't even tell everybody. Let me do this. Antoine Johnson is the creator of House of Talent PA, his own PR firm. He manages and represents models, singers, dancers, restaurants, personalities, and various businesses. Ronte is an employee of Hackensack Meriden Health, an American network of healthcare providers in New Jersey, based out of Edison. Members include academic centers, acute care facilities, and research hospitals. Today, we're going to talk about kidney health, and Antoine wanted to share something with you. I posted, Antoine, last week about the event that we went to bring about kidney awareness and the your need for a kidney. And Ronte saw it. Ronte then texted me the next morning and said, my husband is in need of a kidney. I've signed up for a program where I give one of my kidneys, and I want to test with Antoine to see if we matched. I thought that was so amazing. I connected the both of you on Saturday. And what did we recognize out of that? What happened out of that conversation, Antoine?
Her husband and I are both the same blood type, which is unfortunate but fortunate because we can donate to anyone in terms of giving blood, but we can only receive kidney donations of O positive blood. So it's very hard for us and very hard for us to get this kidney faster than some other people. But I'm glad that she's in the program. She has a voucher to help her husband. I think that's important. I think any edge you can get to getting a kidney, take it.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I wasn't too sure, but now that I've been, I guess, a year now into this, it's like, do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I remember when all right, so backtrack for me a little bit. What happened? How were you diagnosed with stage 5 kidney renal failure?
Yeah, so for me, I thought it was prostate cancer, but it ended up being renal failure in the 5th stage. The signs were inflammation, in the prostate, but it was really just the waste from my kidneys going into my bladder, into that area.
Okay.
That caused what do you call it? Like bacteria and stuff to grow.
Yes.
So it was
in your prostate.
Yeah, so it was an infection. So I was like, okay, we can beat this prostate cancer thing, And to find out, my PSAs were normal, and it was kidney disease. So here we are.
Yeah, Ronte, say hello, Andrea. So see if you can.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, much
better now. Okay.
Much
Good morning, Antoine. It's very nice to meet you this morning.
Likewise, I just want to say off the bat, you are so brave and just a good person to be willing to just give up your kidney to help, not just you, but your husband. So I think it's important that people know that living donors are the blessings that we all need. And if more people would do it, we'd be in a much better space.
Right. Ronte, introduce yourself to the folks and tell them about your husband's journey and why we are here having this conversation.
Good morning. My name is Ronte Melvin, and this journey started with my husband, who was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney disease December of last year. Doctors normally try very hard not to put patients on dialysis right away. So we did a couple of months of medication and watching and waiting, but fluid was building up in his limbs, his hands, his ankles. And we watched your kidney function, and his kidney function in December were in double digits and quickly plummeted by March into single digits. So we had to make a decision about dialysis. And I don't know if your viewership knows that there's actually 2 different types of dialysis. I didn't know until we started this journey. Blood dialysis is what most people are familiar with. You get a port in your neck. You go to a center 2-3 days a week, and they hook you up to a machine that cleanses your blood. But there's another option that allows you a little bit more flexibility, which is called peritoneal dialysis. And that gives you a port like in your belly. And that port, you can do dialysis at home. Maybe some of the drawbacks to that is that it has to be done nightly. So you kind of lose a little bit.
Is he able to sleep comfortably with this port in doing this at night?
Yeah, you kind of figure it out. The first couple of nights, the alarm went off, and that's because the line got kinked, and the medication couldn't come in and it couldn't flow out. But yes, Andrea, the idea is that you get to kind of relax at home. You can lay in bed, you can sit in a chair. And we're on a regimen that's about 8 to 10 hours a night. So in order to be able to get up and go to work, right, you probably have to start about 9:30 at night. So that's kind of where we are. And I just decided that when I saw that no one should have to, I know that dialysis is a great life-saving thing, for people that need it, right? Your kidneys aren't functioning and you need something to help you. But when I look and just watch at the way quality of life changed in a blink of an
Say,
eye.
say more about the quality of life change, because I'm trying to save people from going down this pathway, right? What is the quality of life change that you're seeing?
Yeah. So Black folks, we have to be careful about our blood pressure and our sugar. We have to watch that. And this is why we ended up here, is that uncontrolled high blood pressure. My husband is a type 2 diabetic and got lazy and just depended on insulin to regulate what his body should have been doing. And we get really lazy. And Andrea, 2 years ago, God destined that I needed to start this health journey. And as of Friday last week, I'm down 74 pounds.
Yes, yes,
And I wouldn't have been able to do any of this had I not started that journey. And when you take care of yourself, you don't realize how much better you actually feel. We live in a 3-story townhome, and I got tired of carrying laundry up and down the steps and having to sit down and wait because I was out of breath. And the quality of life when you have to start dialysis and when you have to go downtown to these doctors and take all this medication, it zaps your spirit, it zaps your strength, and it changes really who you are and how you operate in this world. And we don't get to travel because I don't want to. Antoine, you seen that machine? It has a
I know.
whole suitcase of its
Yeah.
own. You need documentation to be able to fly with it. And Anton, I don't know about you, but I am terrified to leave the country and trust that the people that are going to send the medication are shipping it to Jamaica. They're going to ship it to Mexico. And what? I show up there and I got no medication. Like
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it was one of the concerns that I had too when I first they offered those options to me, and obviously the first thing my first response was, I'm not doing dialysis at all. Just put me in my grave. Like I've I've seen people go through the process. I understood what was going to happen to my body, and like I said, the quality of life after 6 months, 7 months on dialysis. Do you still have the desire to want to have that transplant? That was my first thought. Will I still want the transplant? Will my body adjust to dialysis? Will my body and my mind now be prepared to do this every day for however long it takes for me to get my kidney? And do
yes,
I want that quality of life? And for some people, that's a decision they have to make. And
yes.
I think they're stronger than me because I'm like, no, check out, let's go. I think that
Yeah.
was my reality. Um,
So you chose not to do dialysis. They told you would have been dead in 6 months. It's a year. You're still here. You're still
yeah.
here. And you talk about the doctor's visits and all the things that you have to do that Ronte has been discussing. What does that do
Yeah.
to your soul?
I mean, listen, it's heartbreaking, hearing where you are. When I found out, and I think you said he was in double digits when you guys found out. When I found out where I was with my kidney function on day one, I was already at 10% from the biopsy, and so it was just like when you just go from 10%. I mean, there's just down is zero to nothing. I went on the renal diet immediately. In the hospital, I started the renal diet, and I didn't know certain foods were so high in certain like potassiums and stuff. I had peaches in the hospital, and it spiked whatever. The alarms and stuff were going off at the hospital because I'm not supposed to have it, but I don't think anyone knew that it was that severe day one. And then when I got home, everything just changed. I went from 230 pounds to 170 pounds in a few months. Um, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Doctor visits, they're all the time. Blood work every month, sometimes 2-3 times a month. The scariest thing was going into the DaVita Center to see what it was going to be like to be on
Yeah.
dialysis. Do I want this port in my arm or in my chest? Do I want this port in my stomach? Can I handle 8 to 10 hours of this machine? Like it mentally hurts you. Um, but you're strong, and I know that you can't do at home dialysis alone. So the fact that you were there to help, some people don't have
Yes.
that help, and that's
Right.
even harder.
Yeah.
And the pressure that it puts on you as well as your husband, because now you're the safety net. You know what I mean? If you're tired and exhausted, you don't wake up to fix the machine, then what happens? You know,
Yeah.
if a bubble forms in that machine, you know, you
Right.
come to
Absolutely.
life again. It's
Yeah.
a lot. And I don't think people understand the importance of having help in this situation,
Yeah.
and the
Antoine,
importance of like,
your scenario was different though. You were the picture of health, baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what
I
caused
have
your
no,
kidney to crash and burn?
I honestly, to this day, I still have no idea what this was. You know, I have my suspicions, obviously, but, you know, I can never prove it. I will say that they said a lot of, I've had high blood pressure, and I've had high blood pressure all my life. I just think that the space that I work in, the space that I live in, like, it's always been high blood pressure. I mean, I work in PR, I work in television, so I'm always on alert. I'm always in a different space. I will say that the medications that we've used to lower my blood pressure have been exhausting. They've made me very ill. And I'm not sure if it's because they don't do enough testing on the medication for people of color,
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
there's a different side effect, there's a different everything. It's just different. Like, I look at some of the people that I met through this, I'm like, wait, you don't feel this? You're not getting sick? This doesn't make you feel this way? So I think there is something to the medication for people of color that are not happening to people that are our counterparts. That's for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah.
At one point, I was on the 3 pills and a patch that was every day for 7 days a week, and you just switch it every day. And it kind of like if you have an insulin patch, you know what I mean, to see through your
Yes.
Mhm.
skin. Well, they have the same thing for blood pressure, and it was making me so nauseous every single day. I was throwing up. I just couldn't keep down food. It's a lot. It drains your body to try to keep you calm, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's not for me. This is just not for me.
All right, let's talk
So
about this program that Arante got in an effort to try and save your husband, and why we're sitting here today, which is being a living donor. Rante, talk a little bit about that program, please.
So everybody knows about donation. So when you go and get tested, there has to be a blood type match, which is critical and key. I am not a blood type match, and that's another thing, Andrea, that we as Black people need to understand, that we have rare blood types, and getting organs is much more difficult for us when we have these rare blood types. So my husband is an O. Antoine, I know that you are an O as well. So when I started testing, I'm an A. So clearly I cannot donate directly to him. But Jefferson has a program that they call the voucher program.
Mhm.
And basically what that is you put a kidney in the bank, and your person that needs a kidney gets one.
Oh,
So this gift, after a lot of consideration, because Antoine, it was not an easy decision. It's an easy decision when it's the person that you care about, right? Like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to give it to them. But then when someone tells you, well, you needed to give it to somebody else that you don't know, that needs the same gift, it rings different. So I did have to think about that. But to me now, the gift is twofold. Somebody gets a kidney and he gets a
right.
kidney. So I will go in, I will donate my kidney, someone will get it. And then after I've donated, they will start looking for his kidney. Surgeon says it could be anywhere as soon as 3 months, as far out as 8 to 12 months. So they will start to get into their living donor program and find him a match.
yeah,
So you have to donate the kidney in order for them to find a match.
Yes, because you could change your mind, right? So you go and you donate. So I will not have a kidney during, I have one. I can live with
Right.
one. I'm good.
Right.
But during that 3 months to 8 months, I'll be healing and recovering and all
Mhm.
that stuff. And that's when they'll start. Yeah. Because you really can change your mind. I know, Antoine, you probably know this, but I can go in the hospital that day and say, I changed my mind.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
and
yeah,
they keep all along. You have a team of people, the same that Antoine has. He's got a social worker, he's got a caseworker. I have all the same team. and they constantly reach out to me. They check on me mentally. They check on me physically. That's the other thing. When Antoine talked about health, it's the recipient has to be able to get the
Yeah.
kidney. Like, just because you get on dialysis, and it's a little bit of a stronghold in our household, that you have to stay healthy. This isn't just, hey, hook up at night and do this dialysis. We have to change our eating. We have to do exercise, because when a kidney is available, you then go back through a whole bunch of testing to make sure that you can get the kidney. They're not going to give it to you just because I donate it. I mean, you're going to get one, but you have to be healthy. And if you go through those tests, Andrea, and you fail, you will not get a kidney. Will not.
And you restart every single time you fail. You restart for 3 more months.
What?
It is the most heartbreaking. It is the most heartbreaking thing ever. It really is. I mean, I don't know how many times I've restarted because in the process, I got sick. A common cold that would be easy for us to get through when you are healthy. When you don't have kidney function, it's just nothing you can do. Your body is already weak. There's no immune. It restarts the clock. It is the most
Oh,
heartbreaking thing ever. It is
And
so
those tests
heartbreaking.
are hard. I mean, you have to do a 24-hour urine test. Like, who the heck wants to collect urine and pour it into a pot for
For,
24 hours? You have to get an echocardiogram. You have to get these CTs with contrasting dye. Like, it is
yeah,
test after test after test. And if you fail one, if your numbers aren't the way that they want,
yeah.
Antoine's right. You start all over again. And Antoine, I'm going to tell you, when I started this whole thing, I was terrified I was going to find out I had some rare disease that I didn't even know about,
I think
because you
that's a
do
lot of
blood
it.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. It's
I think a lot of that is that. I know, like, I've had a donor. I was supposed to get a transplant back in December of last year, and I had a donor, and they had to pause that donor for some stuff that they had to go through. And in that time is when I got sick, and I ended up hospitalized because I couldn't
oh,
keep down water. Remember, Andre? I couldn't keep down water. I couldn't keep down
yes.
food. I couldn't keep down anything. But it was my body reacting to the medication that I built a tolerance to and a rejection to. So it was like, it wasn't even something that was my fault per se. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like, we just don't adjust to these medications. My body's not used to medication. I would barely take a Tylenol if I had a headache or if I was sick. So it's putting this foreign substance in my body, and it's like my body is already weak. But yeah, my donor ended up months later, being counted out because of the mental health stuff. And I know that they're not crazy or whatever, but this is exhausting. Like, it's
Yes.
exhausting, and you could say firsthand, like, the stuff you have to put you through. I think for men, you have to get a colonoscopy once you get of a certain age, and up until even now, I'm not old enough to get the colonoscopy, but I got it anyway, just in case they said, oh, you didn't get a colonoscopy. We
Right.
had a scare where it's like, oh, we're going to take you off the list because you didn't get this, this, and this. And I'm like, whoa, no, I did all these things. That's not true. But it, and you feel captive. You feel like if you do something wrong, you're getting
Right.
kicked off the list. You know what I mean? It's also a mind game. It's mental.
This is a cautionary tale for so many of us. So many of us. Let's talk about living donor, being a living donor. What does that entail? Because Rante, you're doing it. The ask now for all of us who are listening to this is that you consider being a living donor. If you're
Mhm.
healthy and there's nothing wrong with you and your kidneys are humming along, and you only need to live with one kidney, you don't need both of them. What we need to encourage you now, because type O is a rare type of blood. That's my husband's blood type. I need to have a conversation.
Okay.
Type O. And they do face, they can give blood to anybody, but not everybody can give blood to them.
That's
And
right.
so the same thing would happen for if they need a body part, a kidney or whatever. That's exactly what's needed. What would you say about being a living donor, Rante and Antoine? How useful or helpful is that to for somebody, anybody?
Living donation a is a gift, Andrea, that is so much better for a recipient. And I don't think we know. You can living donate your a part of your lung, your kidney, your
Liver. Can you do a part
your
of your
liver.
liver?
There's so many things that as a healthy person, you could help someone who is, might be on death's door. And living donation, when you look at that, it's getting something that's been functioning in a healthy person's body and putting it in yours. It's so much better. There's less chance of rejection. It's much healthier for the recipient. But what I say about living donation, Antoine, and I think you know this, you as a recipient needing a kidney, you get this QR code. You can give it to anybody. Just scan it. All it is a questionnaire. Just start with that. Just start with answering the questions. You know immediately after go, and the questionnaire is long. Don't get me wrong. It'll take you a good 20, 30 minutes to get through it. And you have to answer it honestly, but it will tell you immediately then whether or not you can proceed forward. And in the Jefferson Network, they have just been wonderful about hand holding all of their living donors. They put you in contact with people who've already done it. There's so much information. So living donation is such a gift of life to that recipient, because that has been functioning in my body, that's been healthy, and I've been taking care of it. And now I can give it to somebody.
Antoine?
Yeah, I would say that this is why I started that company, a kidney.org, because I feel there's too many people. Let's just use Philadelphia County. There's too many people in Philadelphia County who are in need of a kidney, but there are 12 times more people that are registered donors on their driver's license that don't give their organs when they can. If you say, I want to be an organ donor, then let's be an organ donor. Let's not wait till you're deceased to be an organ donor. You could help someone right now while you're alive. And I think that is so important. I think the biggest fear is that people don't know they can donate a kidney and survive and have a healthy life. And number two, people are worried about, well, who's going to cover this? Well, my insurance will cover you giving me a kidney. So you will have insurance from the time that you step into the hospital till after, and even through recovery. In some states, they even offer stipends to people who give kidneys. I think we can, if we incentivize people to do this, this might actually help. And that's why we want to get some legislation on the books.
So here's my question, because Laura just said something that made me go and research it. Type O blood is not rare. In fact, it is the most common blood type in the world. So why is it so hard to find donors with type O blood?
It's rare in the sense that we can give it to everybody. We are universal donors. But there's not too many people that can give to us. When it comes to organs, it's different though. When it comes to the organ part, it's different. It's the organs. Our blood can go into anybody. We can't accept that unless it's someone who's our type.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You can give the gift of blood to anybody, but when you turn it around, you can
You can't
only
just
get
take
it.
it from, right.
Yep. So now you're
Drea,
looking for an organ, and you need an organ that's your blood type. So
correct.
you already starting. You're not playing baseball in the baseball field. You out in the parking lot.
Yeah. We're the unicorn. That's all. We're special.
Yeah. So if anyone is considering becoming a living donor after listening to this, where do they go?
I have a personal link.
Yeah, and so does my husband. He has a
Can you
personal
send
link.
the links to me, please, so that I can post it so that people can know where to go to become donors? Because I don't just want this to be a conversation. I need this to be a source of a solution for both Antoine and your husband. It is. Antoine, I think I've learned more actually from you too, Rante, because we've been riding our bicycles and talking about this for a couple of years, right? So we know what the odds are in all of this. I've interviewed kidney surgeons, I've interviewed oncologists, I've interviewed all kinds of things, just talking to people about taking care of ourselves to get there. But if you would like to donate, let's just say, and Carlene, you're on here, Carlene Bowen, who works with kidney folks who are kidney failure or kidney, type 2 diabetics. What is the ultimate link to Jefferson? And then I need the links from the both of you so that I can post it so that people can sign up to just answer the questionnaire and see if they're even a match. So many times I have seen people just randomly donating kidneys to random people that they work with. These are folks in our community. We tend to not do it as often, and so I want to encourage. And in fact, I'm going to click on both your links and fill out the questionnaire to see if I would be a match, right? For either one of you. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be for them because I have B.
Yeah.
My blood type is
Yeah.
B. So I could,
Yeah.
but I could also be a living donor though. Not,
You could be a living donor, and that's just
somebody.
it too, Andrea. You don't knock yourself out when you click on Antoine's link. Even though I know I'm putting something in the bank for my husband, even clicking on that link, you can help somebody else. And
Yeah.
that is something that I just keep in the forefront. Andrea, you know how scary I am. I've never been in a hospital.
Mhm.
I'm not looking forward to this. And let me tell you, the surgeons are very, very clear. You go into the hospital and you feel great and you come out feeling crappy because this is an elective surgery. This is not anything that you need to make you feel better or we're fixing something. So it can be uncharted waters, but the
Yes.
gift that somebody else gets of getting their life back is
Mhm.
kind of paramount.
Yeah. I honestly, I have to say that I respect the 110% because I know what you're doing. That you love that man. This right here. If there was ever an illustration of what love looks like
Yes.
in the flesh, baby, let me
Yes.
tell you, that
Yes.
is it there because you just, yeah, it's just
So
he
so
should get married 100 times over.
and I'm telling you, and I believe that he does appreciate what you're doing for him, and I know you're in his behind about complying, the food, all of it, all of it, because you love that man, absolutely,
You
absolutely,
know I am.
yes.
Yeah.
Someone wrote all blood types can receive type O blood. However, only recipients with AB plus, A plus, B plus, and O plus blood types can all receive type O blood. Okay, but when this is a different scenario. We're literally they're both O positive. They need somebody who is O positive, and according to Carlene, there's additional testing to see if the donor and the recipient are compatible.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
not. You said December of last year. It was like, well, the thing is, he never had to do like the HLA stuff because, well, he still does because you can't donate to him. Like, it's when they do blood. It's the red tube, the red cap. That's what I
Yeah.
call it, the red
Yeah,
cap.
the red cap.
So annoying. But that is something that is like routine over and over and over again because that's what they use to match every person that could be a potential match.
Right.
So when I feel like when I got into that phase, I was like, oh, we're getting closer. I mean, there's some checkpoints that make you feel like you're getting closer and closer to the kidney. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Because some people look at me like, what is that? I'm like, oh, you're not there yet. Sorry. Like, I don't want to put that on them, but it makes me feel like we're getting
Yeah,
closer and closer to that kidney.
yeah. So
There's just
so
milestones. You know?
Yeah, so according to this, there are tons of people that are O positive and O negative. We just have to get them now to believe that they can be, a living donor.
Our donor.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're O positive, O negative is the most common blood type, and you believe you can be a living donor for either Ronte's husband or Antoine Johnson, please inbox me because some people are shy and won't say it out loud, right?
Right.
Or if you feel that there are people that are around you that will be willing to be living donors, please, Carlene says the National Kidney Registry is a place where people can go to find information. I love you both. You know that. There is absolutely no doubt. What else, Antoine?
I feel like, and this is something that people don't talk about, and I noticed this day one. Like, for example, your husband is on dialysis. Being on dialysis cuts out the time that you have to wait for a kidney when you're not taking dialysis. You know what I mean? So there's priority to people who
Oh,
dialysis who versus people that are not. You know what I mean? Like his 1 year dialysis is the equivalent of 2 years of waiting on the list. You know, like, and I think that it's I don't know if the word unfair is the right word, but I think that, the mindset that it puts someone in who is not on dialysis, if I go on dialysis, I get this quicker. But to me, it's just saying this is profit versus
Mm,
like forcing
yeah,
someone into
yeah. Cause
like
let me tell you, Antoine, when them boxes show up at your house on the back of that truck, baby, my
hmm
whole family room has turned into a warehouse.
yeah,
2030, but the first shipment that came, I retreated to my bedroom. I must have cried for 20 minutes
yeah,
because just looking at all of the stuff, the tubing and the durable medical goods and all of the boxes of solution, it was so overwhelming. So
yeah.
overwhelming.
We turned our sped bedroom into what would be a hospital in preparation for dialysis. Because I entertained it for all of 2 seconds. I'm like, all right, fine, let's get it done and over with. But then I just realized not even the sacrifice, but what it's going to put everyone through when I know that I can manage this. I can manage the pain. I can manage the fluids, all those things. I mean, I'm doing it now. I'm living proof that it's possible to do this without the dialysis. You know what I mean? Like I'm truly living proof. And days
Yeah.
are hard, but days are hard even on dialysis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had a doctor, an internist, tell me that the dialysis centers are a profit making machine for yeah. But she said as she said it on the air with me. My doctors are brave as hell. She was like, "Listen, there are other ways to save people's lives, and it's our communities that we're automatically told to go on dialysis." Right? When I talked to you last July, as I was humming across the country, and you were like, "I'm going to be dead in 68 months if I don't get." You're still here. You're still here, and you've been following the diet, the renal diet, and you're hanging in there now. That being said, Um, it is not an easy journey for either one of you, because Antoine, you and I have had many a conversation
yeah,
about this journey. But I watched my mother on dialysis, and after three, she was like, "I'm done." It was so damn painful.
Mm.
It was too much, right? And her body was just like, "Yeah, we're not doing this." So there are people who opt to live on dialysis for 8, 9, 10. How long can you be on dialysis though?
You can really be on dialysis as long as you need a kidney. Now, what doctors don't really say to you is how is your body changing during that time period, right? Because we, you know, the the speed for me is that the less amount of time that he spends on dialysis, the better that his body will be and ready to receive a kidney. So I didn't want him to be on dialysis for 2, 3 years because I kept thinking, well, that's how long the body is kind of still deteriorating. And
Mhm.
Antoine, you know this too. You have to go for a checkup every month and they look at your output of your urine and they look at all the stuff. And once those things start to go down, those are reasons why you can't get a kidney. So now you're looking at being on this thing for the rest of your life. Like that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I truly believe that there is something that, and I talked about early on. It's like when you're there on dialysis, it's like I think you chose the path that you chose. If
Mhm.
you're on there for more than 2 years, it's like this is the new
Yeah.
life. This is your new normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mind, your body adapts to it,
And they
and
make it seem like this is the better choice and the easier way out for you. The better choice and the easier way out is for us to continue to go to the doctor, have our high blood pressure checked, make sure that if we're type 2 diabetics that we're eating the proper things, continue to get our A1C checked, continue to monitor and make sure our blood. That's the easier path for me, because after talking to a kidney doctor, he was like, even when you get the transplant, you still have kidney disease, because you have to manage that kidney for the rest of your life with everything in you. And I saw rapper Freeway. He had got his kidney in 2009. He said, "I am fighting to hold on to this kidney." I talked to another lady who got a kidney in 2022. She said, "I have friends who died. They got kidney and just went back to living life the way that they wouldn't take the medication. They wouldn't." So there's so much to learn in all of this.
And
it's
Antoine will tell
expensive.
you need support. You
You
need,
definitely
and
need support.
they ask you, who is your support? Who are you going to have? Even when you get this kidney, there's antiviral medication you have to take. You can't drive for 2 months. You have to go to the doctors twice a week for a whole entire month to get checked out. That in and of itself is a lifestyle change.
Yeah. So here's the thing, but fortunately, your husband will get a living donor, which will make sense. In the event that I don't get a living donor, Jefferson has the program where you get the deceased donor, which is just like deceased person. Then you have your hepatitis B donations, which I'm immune to, so I can receive a kidney from a deceased that's hepatitis B with no side effects, no cause, no anything, because I have immunity to it. But then there's that hepatitis C kidney that, there's a cure for it now, but the weight is less. And I think in my situation, we were just like, whatever comes first is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? And then even entertain the whole pig fetus. Yeah, let's go. Like, whatever's going to keep me alive, let's do what
Right.
we have to do. I don't think people understand, like, when you're at death's door and the options are very limited, you do what you have to do to survive. And I think that's the position that I'm in. And I'm seeing a lot of people like in the renal community saying, all right, let's do it. Like, you think about it, like, do I want this? No. But am I going to live? Absolutely. And I
Yes.
think it's important that people understand the options that we face just for our survival right now is limited, but you got to do what you got to do.
Laura says, my friend is on dialysis and he works every day. He does not want to go on the list yet. He's been on dialysis for 4 to 5 years. Monica says, I know someone who has been on dialysis for over 20 years and had a baby during. I didn't even know this was possible. Oh,
Wow.
Jesus,
Wow.
all the
God is
fancy.
good.
Yes.
It worked again. It works for some people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I learned through this process. I can't tell anyone what their journey should be on this kidney track. Everybody's body's different. Everyone reacts to something differently. The medication responds differently. The mental and mind is different for people in these situations. I know for me, I didn't want to be on a machine for 10 to 12 hours a day. I know I didn't want, to go to the Vita Center, to be in a space where people, they're just whatever. And I also had and we talked about this, Andrea, I had an experience with someone I met on this journey, 29-year-old who was on dialysis for 2 years, same blood type, waiting for the same kidney. Brought them on TV with me so we can both share our stories. 2 months later, he's gone. I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he went through everything they say, dialysis, this, and he's no longer with us at 29 years old. I couldn't process that because you said dialysis is going to keep us alive.
Yeah. It's a Band-Aid, what we get from our physicians, and I appreciate the schooling and the things that they do are very helpful. But in the end, Andrea, the path of not being here is knowing, if we have high blood pressure, what do we need to do to take care of it? If we're type 2 diabetics, what do we need to do to not take insulin or to take less insulin? And it's not an easy journey
It
for Black
isn't.
folks to take care of ourselves. Because Antoine, did you know that collard greens is high in potassium? As a kidney person, you can't
I
have a lot
do
of collard
now.
greens. Yeah,
I
you
do
can't have a
now.
lot of collard greens. My husband was in the hospital because his primary care doctor noticed that his potassium was really high. And she sent us to the ER. People kept coming in, looking at us, talking to us. This man had a potassium level of like an 8, and you're supposed to be at a 3.
Ooh. And he
So,
had collard
and
greens.
too much potassium will stop your heart. He could
Yes,
have
it
been
will.
driving around and his heart stopped and drove into a tree. So you have to learn how foods react in your body and what's going to be good for you. And Andrea, you know me, this journey that we've been on to eat healthy and to cook, and we only eat out 1 day a week. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
all we allow ourselves is 1 day a week. And even
Yeah.
when we eat out, I am hawking that menu before
Yeah.
we go there to figure out if there's good
So
choices
something that
for
right.
both of us to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the both of you, Rante. I am so super proud of the journey that you took to get to where you are now, and even prouder still that you're making the ultimate sacrifice to donate your kidney to someone, even
Yeah.
if it can't go to your husband. Kudos to you, and God bless you. You and I will talk after the show because I have a funeral right after this though. And Antoine, baby.
Yeah.
I still believe that on some level, especially after having this conversation, and we need to keep having this conversation, that you will find a kidney. That a kidney, you will have a transplant, because I believe with all my heart, the way we process this, the way we think through this, the positive mindset is what's kept you here up to this point. I do.
I I agree. I
I
agree.
do. I do. So thank you
I hope
both.
you'll keep in touch with me, Antoine.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's. We're gonna do something for sure. Because I'm gonna
Oh.
use as much power that I have. I'm gonna use it to help other people because
Mhm.
this just can't be. This just can't
Yes.
be.
Yes. Yes.
Legislation has to happen to help people like
Yeah.
us.
You know,
This is unbelievable.
it is. It's crazy. And a friend of mine just went to my eye doctor, Dr. Archima, and she told her that the blood pressure medication she was on was stripping her her nutrients and was actually damaging her kidney. She was urinating blood, and the doctor was like, "Well, you don't have a urine infection, so let's discuss when we meet." And tell me what. And so a lot of this too is the medications that we're on. A lot of it is doctors just, well, it's not this, but we're not going to try to see if it's that. Right? So in a couple of years, she probably would have been looking at her kidneys going, what the hell happened? This is what I'm talking about. And so these conversations must continue. If people would like to reach out to you, how can they do so?
So,
You can,
Antoine?
yeah, you can find. I'm on Instagram. I use my full government. Antoine V. Johnson. It is my full government name. And akidney.org is the website if you guys want
Say
to see
the
that. It's just,
akidney.org.
yes, akidney.org
Okay.
is the
Okay.
website. All the information's there. There's also that link to sign up to see if you can be a donor for me on there as well.
Okay.
There's a donation link. We're trying to build an app that will match people who are looking for a kidney with those who want to donate their kidney. So
Okay.
we're doing that because I think it's
That's
important.
awesome.
It's kind of like a dating app, find your kidney date kind of thing. Because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's important that people are able to do that.
Okay.
So,
All
and you
right.
just streamline it. It just makes things. It makes.
Much
I think it will
easier.
make things
Yes.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rante?
Actually, I'm going to send you the QR code for my
Okay.
husband from Jefferson, and
Okay.
I will send you that. And that is his direct QR code. So when you fill out the questionnaire, you're
Okay.
kind of already linked directly to him, and
Mhm.
your questions will let you know immediately whether or not you'll be able to move forward. And
Mhm.
someone in the Jefferson network would then contact you.
Yeah.
Is he pre-registered in there, or do they still have to add his birth date and all that stuff
No, he's pre-registered in there. That
with the
QR
QR
code that,
code?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's already, yeah. So that, yeah, that's great. And what we did was we had some cards made, and we would hand out the cards with the QR
Mhm.
code.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that was a way to get, information out. But again, folks always think that donor has to be, I gotta die
Yeah.
in order to donate. So we need to really, Antoine, I applaud you
Mhm.
for making it known that living donation. And let me just tell you something. One thing that Antoine said about doing this living donation and kind of being afraid to do it, his insurance pays for everything. I'm
Everything.
covered under my husband, so everything is paid. But there's also there's additional programs as a result of being a donor. And if anything were to happen to my last kidney, I go to the top of the list because I donated.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if
The
some
protections are
tragedy
fantastic.
happens, so you don't ever be afraid, like, oh my God, well, what happens to me? There are provisions to make sure that the donor
Mm-hmm.
gets protected too. They care about the donor just as much as they care about the
What they
recipient.
think.
And that's what I've really learned through this
Mhm.
process, that both people are equally important.
Hmm.
Yes. Girl, you going straight to heaven on a banana peel. I promise you.
Well, I need to, you know how bad I am.
Love you both. Thank you so much for joining us. I got to go to a funeral now, so got to get off the air. Love you. Mwah.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
Bye
right.
you.
You're
bye. Take
welcome.
care.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye bye.